Man, I apologize for running late today. Man, I still feel up under the weather, so man, I need you guys' prayers. Still getting set up. Babe, babe, can you grab me that wash rag? Scorpio lady, what's up with you? Man, family, thank you guys for being here. What's up, babe? Man, I apologize. I'm running behind this today. What's up, Raymond? Man, I'm up under the weather today. Jose, what's up with you? Libra Love, what's up? I'm up under the weather, man. I need you guys' prayers today, man. We're gonna go in today. Carter Brown, what's up? What's up? We're going in today. This topic I've talked about in the past. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get situated. Again, just I'm up under the weather. Thomas, what's up with you, man? Man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, may God bless each and every one of you that are here on this live. For those of you that catch this later on the replay, man, may God bless you as well. We're going to go in today, family. Man, I'm just praying that I got the energy to do it. And man, you guys don't see me sneezing and blowing my nose and everything else, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do. You know what I mean? We got to do what we got to do. And that's life. You know what I mean? Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you don't feel like doing what you got to do, but you got to get up and push through it. You know what I mean? It don't matter how you feel. You got to get up and push through it. You know what I mean? That's what separates the winners from those people that just sit back on their ass expecting shit to happen. You know what I mean? Man, we got to push through it. That's what overcomers are. You know what I mean? That's what more than conqueror, being a more than a conqueror is all about, is pushing through it. You know what I mean? Pushing through it. Man, yes, Scorpio lady, I got some tea right here. I don't have any honeysuckle out here. I grew all of that in California, but I don't have any of that stuff out here with me. What's up, Kate? Oh, excuse me. This is some ginger tea, and man, I just got a piece of ginger, and that's nasty. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You liable to see any and hear anything on this channel. Talking about why we get angry at God, why we get angry at God, and why we don't believe that there is a God. Again, years ago when I was a kid, and I'm having this conversation because somebody brought it up in the stream yesterday evening. They were asking about about talking about God and all this other stuff. And there's so many religious people that talk about God. And when you look at their life and when you listen to them, it's like, man, you're not symbolic or you're not representative of anything godly. Stay with me. You know what I mean? Man, if you're God, if you talk about God and you're this hateful and you're this spiteful and you're this mean and angry and this messy and man, I don't want nothing to do with your religion. I don't want nothing to do with God. You know what I mean? Because when you look at so many of the religious people that push God and push their religion on everybody else, man, those are some of the most hateful, some of the most self-righteous, some of the most angry, some of the most unforgiving, some of the most intolerant people on the freaking planet. You know what I mean? And I tell people all the time, and they would get mad at me because I would tell them, you ain't got to tell people about God. Stop opening your mouth and telling people that you're a godly person. Stop opening your mouth and telling people you believe in Jesus. You're doing these people a disservice. And I'm not talking about the people you're supposed to be witnessing to and the people you're supposed to be trying to win over to your religion. I'm telling you, you're doing God a disservice. You're doing Jesus a disservice. You're doing Allah a disservice. You're doing Buddha a disservice. Shut the fuck up and just let your life reflect what you believe. You ain't got to push that down everybody's throat. If they can't tell that by watching your life If they can't tell that by just sitting back and just observing how you get down, then something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with your belief system. That or you're a fucking hypocrite. We going in today. We going in today. We going in today. And this is why so many people have such an issue with God, because they don't have an understanding of who God is based on all the stupid shit they've heard. They've heard all these people push and preach God, and these same motherfuckers be molesting little boys. These same motherfuckers pushing and preaching this shit is convincing these women to have sex with them. These same motherfuckers is conniving these people out of millions and billions of dollars. So ain't nothing they doing godly. And so I understand why so many people have a misconcept of God. I understand why so many people are atheists and don't believe in God. Because we've been told, man, if you just pray and we'll do, you have not because you ask not, ask and you shall be given, knock and it shall be open. They tell you all this religious jargon, but they never tell you how to have a relationship with God. They tell you how to pay your tithes and offering, but they don't show you and teach you how to deal with being raped, how to deal with being abandoned, how to deal with being physically beaten, emotionally put down, and all the shit we go through. They don't talk about that shit. They completely ignore that. They give you all these scriptures and quote all these Bible stories to you and tell you you're supposed to be perfect, you're supposed to be righteous, and everybody's going to hell that ain't doing it their way. We're going in today, family. We're going in. So, there's a gentleman on yesterday, I believe it was a young man on yesterday, and he's talking about some of the stuff that he's going through, and he got issues with God. And I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that I've gone through. But before I get started on that, Buddha, there's a story that says Buddha was asked by this religious man. He saw Buddha and came and sat down when everybody was gone. And he asked the Buddha, man, I teach about God. I preach about God. And Buddha's like, yeah, I know who you are. And he's like, but I'm getting close to death. I'm not sure if there's really a God. Stay with me. This man close to death is now coming to Buddha and asking Buddha, is there a God? Can you tell me if there's a God? I've preached for years that God existed. I've preached for years that the only way to heaven was through his son and all this other stuff. And so he's asking Buddha, is God for real? And Buddha looks at him. Buddha understands that he's a theist. He believes in God. And Buddha tells him, no, there is no God. And the man sits there and he looks at Buddha, puzzled. And Buddha tells him again, there is no God. Go find your way. And the man leaves and he ponders this. And another man comes to Buddha. And he tells Buddha, Buddha, I'm an atheist. I've been an atheist for my whole life. Now I'm getting close to death. Now I want to know, is there really a God? Because I'm getting ready to die and I want to know for sure if there's a God. And Buddha looks at him, understands that he's an atheist, that he does not believe in God, and he's never believed in God. And he's taught people not to believe in God. And Buddha tells this gentleman, yes, there is a God. And the man's puzzled because his whole life he's taught that there isn't a God. And now he hears this Buddha telling him, man, there is a God. And so he's sitting there and he's pondering it. He's like, man, now I got to find out who God is. And so he walks away. And this little monk is overhearing the conversation. And the Buddha comes inside. And the little monk is looking at Buddha confused. Because Buddha told two different people two totally different things. He told the first man that no, God did not exist. He told the second man that yes, God existed. And so this little monk who's followed Buddha his whole life, he's confused. Why the contradiction? Why would Buddha mislead these people? And so he's confused. He's perplexed by what he just heard. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. And so he goes up to Buddha and he asks him quietly, Buddha, I overheard your conversation with both of those individuals. I heard you tell the first man that there was not a God. And then I heard you tell the second man that there is a God. I'm confused. Help me, your disciple. Tell me, is there a God? How do I find out the truth? Buddha looked at him. Buddha responded, the answer I gave to them was for them. Why does that concern you? Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And the gentleman said, because you gave two different answers. And Buddha said, I gave each of them what they needed to hear. The first man was religious. He had religious beliefs. He didn't have a connection with God. He didn't know who God was. He talked about God, but he didn't have a connection with God. He preached God. He told everybody about God, but he didn't know who God was. He wasn't connected with God. And so by me telling him that God did not exist and to go find himself and to go find the truth, now he had to go back in and understand, man, I've been wrong. Man, I got to figure some stuff out. And so the first guy, he had to go within himself and understand, man, who is God? Who is God? I don't want to hear all the religious teachings. I don't want to hear all the scholars. Who is God to me? I could tell you what all the scholars say. I could tell you what all the great philosophers and the great theologians have said for years. But I have no personal relationship. I can only tell you what other people have said. He said the second man, he was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. And so by me telling him that there was a God or that God existed, now that was going to push and jumpstart his growth and development. Because to each of them, both of them, they had got to the highest level that they could get in their ignorance. The religious person, he had got to the highest level he could get in his ignorance in regards to who and what he thought about God. He had no relationship with God at all. He had religious teachings. He had no personal relationship. And so by me telling him that God didn't exist, now he's going to go and start and create a relationship. The second person who didn't believe God existed, he's going to go and he's going to jumpstart his relationship with God. He's going to look, man, who is God? Is there a God? And the trip is, so many of us, because we've been programmed and we don't believe, because we have this misconcept of God, it's easy for us to believe that God is sitting there just waiting for us at our beckoning call to do whatever the hell we want him to do for us. And when he don't do what we want us to do, now we're pissed. Now we want to give God the finger. Now we don't want to believe in God. And so, it's a trip because when I was a kid, again, at 2 years of age, I saw my father murder my mom. We're going to talk a little bit about fate and we're going to talk about faith. Okay? Because you got to understand both. You have to understand fate and you have to understand faith. Okay? Because in reality, you got to have both. And so many people, they're so fatalistic. Everything is fate. You're stuck to this will and you're down to whatever destiny you're in. You know what I mean? You can't change that. And other people, they have this faith-based belief. They think that, man, it's all about whatever you believe and you can do whatever you want. And man, you can change anything and everything. You know what I mean? And both are right and both are wrong. Stay with me. We're going to get deep today. We're going to get deep today. And so when I was a kid, I saw my father murder my mom, stabbed her 49 times. My sisters and I became wards of the court. And so we're in these foster homes while my father's going to court and all this other crap and just waiting for the courts to decide what's going to happen with these 3 kids. You know what I mean? And so my mom's side of the family's fighting over us. My dad's side of the family's fighting over us. And we're with these strangers. You know what I mean? I'm 2 years old. I have a sister that's 4 years old. And I have a baby sister that just turned 6 months old. You know what I mean? We was tiny. And so I'm sitting there and the courts finally decided to give us to my father's sister, his younger sister. Very religious, a religious fanatic. Okay, stay with me. And so people would say, man, that's fate. That was your destiny. You're destined for that. And while at church, at the age of 6, I was crying out to God, asking God, man, God, all these people, all these great quote unquote revivalists and, you know, preachers was coming in. This is back in the 70s. There's all these revivals going all over America. All these quote unquote great men of God, powerful men of God, you know, coming in doing these tent revivals and everything else. And they would always come up and what's up, Southern Galactic? And they would always call me up out of everybody in the church. They would always pick me for whatever reason as this little kid and tell me to come up and just lay hands on me and just tell me, man, you're going to be a powerful man of God. Man, God's going to use you. And man, God's got you. God's got a calling on your life and move and all this other stuff, right? And as this little kid, you're not trying to hear that crap. You know what I mean? Stay with me. I don't mean no disrespect by that. You're not trying to hear all that. You know what I mean? Church is for old people. I'm not trying to do this stuff when I'm young. You know what I mean? I'll come back to God. I'll come back to church when I'm 30 something years old, because 30 something years old to us was old. You old when you 30. I don't think that no more. But when I was 6 and 7 years old, I thought you was old at 30. You know what I mean? You had nothing else to do except go to church. It's like, man, let me go live my life. Let me go do what I want to do. And then when I get old, I'll come back to church. But I'm praying for all my family to get off of drugs, right? And I'm doing all this other stuff, and I'm having these conversations with God on a daily basis. Stay with me. And so one day I'm God, okay, God, let's make a deal. I'm saying this as a 6-year-old kid. God, let's make a deal. God, I'll worship you. God, I'll die for you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go wherever you want me to go. I'm just asking you for 5 things. You know what I mean? Just give me the strength of Samson. Just give me the wisdom of Solomon. Just give me the love and compassion of David. Give me the faith of Job. Give me the teaching ability of Paul. And just give me those 5 things and I'll do whatever you want me to do. This is what I asked God for as a 6-year-old kid. Stay with me. And the next week in church, I was molested by Christian people. And the week after that, I was molested again by a different person. And so at that point, I'm fuck God. You know what I mean? Fuck God. God could kiss my black ass. Excuse my language. It is what it is. This is a grown folk channel. We're going to keep it real and transparent here. You know what I mean? If that offends you, you need to grow up. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And so as the 6-year-old kid, this is what I'm telling God. I didn't ask for this shit. I didn't deserve this shit. What the hell did I do to deserve being molested? All I asked is like, God, just give me these 5 characteristics of these people in the Bible, of these people that worshiped you, of these people that loved you, these people that lived for you. Just give me their 5 characteristics and I'll do anything for you. And this is what you allow to happen to me? To get molested? It's bad enough you let my sorry ass dad kill my mom. Now you allow me to get violated. Man, fuck God. God don't give a fuck about me. This was my attitude at 6 years of age. Because the only way that I could process, this happening was God didn't care about me. Everybody talked about how loving God was. I didn't feel the love of God. I felt the backhand of God. That's what it felt like to me. Maybe you could get molested twice at the age of 6 after seeing your father murder your mom and still be like, oh God, I love you. God, I thank you. And God, I'll do it. No, that's not real. That's not how I processed the shit. That's not how I processed it. At the time, I'm angry and mad as hell. Why would God allow this to happen to me? What did I do as a kid to deserve all of this fucking hell? I ain't never done anything to anybody. Why do I gotta go through this fucking shit? So my family's telling me, man, you got anger issues. It's like, yeah, I got anger, but they didn't know I was molested. They didn't, because you don't talk about that in black churches. And so I'm carrying this shame and this anger. And everybody's wondering, man, why this guy just tripping all of a sudden? He's doing bad in school. He's cussing out teachers. He's ready to slap teachers. And he's ready to fight everybody. He just completely changed. Yeah, but these motherfuckers wasn't intelligent enough to deal with issues back then. Stay with me. We're going somewhere today. In the black community and in the poor communities in America, we didn't talk about mental health in the 70s. We just now starting to talk about it normally. We wasn't talking about this stuff back then. Whatever happened to you as a kid, suck it up, buttercup. That was their mentality. Deal with it. So, I'm mad as hell. I'm angry. Mad at God. Don't give a fuck about church. Don't give a fuck about Christians. None of that shit. You know what I mean? Because now I'm so bad at school. Man, they're kicking me out of school. I'm so bad at school. Man, I got to get on the program to where I got to be good for a whole fucking week. I'll get to school at 8 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I got to take my ass home. I had to be good for a whole fucking week before they didn't extend me for another hour. And then another week, I had to be good for another whole week, and they just kept extending me for an hour. But if I was bad at all during the week, man, that week didn't count. We had to start all over. It took me the whole fucking year to get back on regular schedule. I just didn't give a fuck. I didn't care. And my family, they didn't help the process. Now, we're talking about why people get mad at God. Why people don't believe in God. And so they're telling me, man, you're going to hell. You got the devil in you. Okay, so fucking what? You know what I mean? God don't care about me anyways. So, grow up. Join the military, get as far away from my family as I possibly can. And I'm dealing with some stuff. And when I think I'm okay with it, God has a way of slapping you with it and just to let you know, nah, you ain't really dealt with that yet. You haven't dealt with that yet. You suppressed it, but you haven't dealt with that issue. You suppressed your anger. You suppressed the thoughts of you being molested. You suppressed all this woo-doo-woo-doo. You haven't dealt with it. And that's freebie for some of y'all. Because some of y'all gone through a lot of shit. You suppressed it. You haven't dealt with it. And because you ain't thinking about it consciously, you think you've dealt with it because it's not on your radar. It's not in your conscious thoughts. And so you think you moved beyond it. It's coming back up. It's coming back up. And it's going to keep coming back up. That's a freebie. And so 2014, my brother, we find out He's in his early 40s at the time. He has like a 5-year-old daughter. He goes to the hospital. 3 days later, he dies. Nobody knew that he was sick. He had colon cancer. I'm mad. He's in Florida. I'm in California. I'm mad. I'm hurt. A few months later, February 2000, he died end of August 2014. Beginning of February 2015, find out that my wife had stage 4 breast cancer. The most she got is 6 months. I'm fucking livid. You know what I mean? I'm done. It's a wrap. Kiss my ass goodbye. You know what I mean? It's a wrap. It's done. It's a done dada, as they say in the hood. A done dada. Man, it's over. Game over. Lights out. Fuck God, fuck everything. You know what I mean? Because we still got issues. Man, because you still allowed this motherfucker to kill my mom. You still allowed me to be molested twice. You still allowed me to be raised by these fucking wicked ass people who didn't do right. You know what I mean? You allowed me to go through all this fucking shit as a fucking kid. Now I'm a fucking adult and you still killing people that I care about. Stay with me. We're talking about why we get mad at God. And why we become atheists, and why we don't believe. And so what God had to show me was, Elijah. I'm like, I'm not trying to fucking hear you right now. I don't give a fuck about the bullshit you talking. Out of all the people that could have died, there's a whole bunch of fucking Christians you should have fucking killed. There's a whole bunch of fucking preachers you should have fucking took out. Instead of killing my brother who was good, who's a good person. He was a nerd. He was a straight lame. He wasn't about the street life. He wasn't about none of that stuff. He was just always trying to be loving and compassionate and giving his all for anybody. And you let him die from cancer? And then you let my wife die? Man, fuck you and your fucking righteousness. All these fucking Christians running around spewing hatred and division and all this other bullshit and damning everybody to hell and molesting motherfuckers and raping women and doing all this crooked ass shit, and you just letting them get rich and prosperous and living good lives, and everybody else is paying the price for this shit? Oh, I got a fucking issue with God. I had an issue with God. Yeah, me and God had some fucking words. We had some real words. And what God had to show me was, Elijah, do you believe in fate? Or do you believe in faith? What fucking difference do it make? It don't fucking matter. They're fucking dead. All the people that I cared about are dead. You're so fucking all powerful. How come you didn't kill these wicked motherfuckers? How come you didn't kill these fucking hypocrites? How come you didn't kill these fucking rapists and thieves? How come you didn't kill these fucking murderers? Oh, the bad people live good lives. The bad people become millionaires. The bad people get big churches. The bad people get good contracts. Make millions and billions. Fuck, let me live that life then. Because God ain't fucking helping nobody. What I had to realize. Was that I was hurt. I was hurt. I never dealt with my father murdering my mom. Stay with me. I'm about to go somewhere heavy right now. I never dealt with being molested. I never dealt with the fact that my father never really gave a damn about me because I was a mama's boy. I never really got over the fact that my family always saw me as my dad. And I was going to be the black sheep of the family like my dad. I was going to be the fuck up of the family like my my dad because I had an anger issue like my dad. Quick to slap somebody in their fucking face. Quick to kick somebody in their fucking throat. And not give two damns about it. But I had issues. Hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. I hadn't dealt with that shit. Shit happened a long time ago, but I never dealt with it. And so I'm asking God, what the fuck difference do it make of whether faith or faith? I have faith in you, God. I believe that you were going to give me these 5 fucking characteristics. I didn't believe you were going to allow me to get fucking molested. I didn't believe you were going to allow me to grow up in this toxic ass family, this abusive ass family. I didn't believe you was going to let my wife die. I didn't believe you were going to allow my brother to die. My fucking faith didn't do me no fucking good. God said, are you finished yet? And if you know me, man, that put me on one. That put me on one. I'm on one now. And I'm already cussing God out. You know what I mean? I'm already ready to go blow the blow with God. You know what I mean? Stay with me. We're going somewhere. And he said, Elijah, are you finished? Elijah, you're mad at the whole world. You're mad at the whole world. Do you know why you're mad at the whole world? Do you know why you're so pissed at me? He said, Elijah, you're mad at me. You hate me. You despise me because you despise you. And that fucked me up. Because I didn't think I despised me. And I'm like, hold up, no, I love me. He said, no, you don't. You say you love you. Everything you do is contrary to you loving you. You don't know how to love you. You don't even know who the fuck you are. If you don't know who the hell you are, how can you love you? So I'm like, okay, hold up, time out. What the fuck does that got to do with my father killing my mom? What the fuck did that got to do with me getting molested? What the fuck did that got to do with me growing up in that fucking toxic ass family, in that crazy ass fucking Christian religion? What the fuck does that got to do with my brother and my wife dying from cancer? He said, Elijah, fate. There's some things you can't change. Stay with me. There's some things you can't change. But what you have the power to do is choose how you're going to respond to it. Good things happen to bad people. Good things happen to good people. Bad things happen to good people. Bad things happen to bad people. It's all in how you choose to handle it. Fate is your wife dying. That's all out of your control. Fate is your brother dying. That's all out of your control. Fate is you been molested at 6. That was all out of your control. Fate is your father murdering your mom. That was out of your control. Fate is how you grew up in that household. That was out of your control. You couldn't control those things. But you could have controlled how you responded to them. Stay with me. I'm going to go somewhere. He said, Elijah, faith is your belief. Because you don't value you. Because of all these things that's happening, you grew up believing you were cursed. You grew up believing that I didn't give a fuck about you. You grew up believing that I hated you. You grew up believing that I didn't give 2 fucks about you. That's why I allowed you to go through all the stuff that you go through. Because you believe that. You believe that I didn't give a damn about poor people. You have faith. Faith is only a belief. Belief is faith. So whether you want to believe in me or not, you have faith. But your faith is messed up. And because your faith is messed up, your perspective of you is messed up. And because your perspective of you is messed up, your perspective of me is messed up. I said, God, you tiptoe around the issue. What does any of that shit got to do with the hell that I've gone through? He said, Elijah, all of those things happen for a reason. I know you didn't want to believe that. I know you don't want to hear that. But all of those things that happened to you in your life was to help you nurture and help you come into an understanding of who you really are. But that's not what you chose to do. You chose to operate on a low frequency. You chose to operate on hate. You chose to operate on fear. You chose to operate on unforgiveness, on bitterness, on animosity, on hatred, on revenge. He said, Elijah, you don't believe me because you don't believe yourself. You don't know me because you don't know yourself. You don't love me. You don't value me because you don't love and value yourself. You can't love me without loving you. You can't love you and not love me. I'm going to say it again. What God had to show me was, Elijah, we're interconnected. We're one and the same. We are the same. You see it as two different entities. You see it as me being responsible and you being a fucking victim. So you got to have somebody to blame. And you're not going to blame you because this shit was out of your control. And so you blame me. He said, Elijah, I am you. You are me. Let's see if I can say it differently. He said, Elijah, when you go into yourself, when you understand that you're a spirit, you're a spiritual being. When you understand, when the Bible talks about God breathing the breath of life into Adam. When God breathed the breath of life into Adam, God put a part of himself into Adam. Adam didn't become alive until the breath of life was breathed into him. Until part of God became part of Adam. Stay with me, we're going somewhere. And so when you look at it, man, God is in you. God is in every single one of us. And the religious people don't want to hear this shit. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care. To each their own. To each their own. You know what I mean? Man, I don't have time to argue and try to debate with anybody. Everybody's entitled to believe whatever the hell they want to believe. But what you can't do is change the facts. What you can't do is change the truth. Because God is truth. You're entitled to your opinion. Just because you're entitled to your opinion doesn't make it facts. You're entitled to your opinion. Just because you're entitled to your opinion doesn't make it a truth or the truth. And I know everybody talks about, man, everybody has their own truth. No, the fuck they don't. They have their fucking perspective of the truth. It's a big difference. The truth is that God is in every one of us. The truth is that God is us and we are Him. Let the breath of life be taken out of you. And watch how much your body moves. Watch how much your body functions. You're not this shell. I say it all the time. You're not this mass or this bag of bones and skin and muscles and cartilage and veins and tissues and all organs. That's not who you are. You're a spirit. You're God who's gone through different experiences. And the whole purpose is for you to remember who you are. But that's what we struggle with because we learn so much stupid shit. And we get so fucking egotistical. And so now all we operate on is our fucking ego. And we stop being spiritual. So God had to show me, Elijah, you can't separate you from me. You can't separate the two. I don't care what you think about any of these people, Elijah. I love them and I'm in them just as much as I'm in you. I don't care. You can pick the worst person on the planet, Elijah, as though you have the right to judge anybody. But you can pick the worst person on the world and the planet, whoever that person is. I'm just as much as in them as I'm in you. They're just as much as me as you are. You're not more godly than they are. You're connected to me and they're not connected to me. But it don't mean that they're still not me. It still doesn't mean that I'm not them. That's like, oh man, I'm confused. I'm not understanding this. He said, Elijah, it would be like you walking around. I'm God. You're God. But you don't fucking know that who you are. And so that would be like you walking around with your wallet and you got $1 billion check payable on demand in your wallet. You don't know it's there. You're hungry as hell. You're starving. You're dumpster diving. You're doing all this stupid shit to get some food. You're doing all this stupid shit to get something to eat. You're doing all this stupid shit to find a place to stay. Because you don't know who you are. You don't know the power you have. You're walking around with $1 billion. You're wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. But you don't even fucking know it. Because you don't even know what's in your wallet. All the people that don't believe in me, all the people that don't believe that I'm within them, all the people that's not connected to me, that's how they're living their life. As though they have $1 billion in their wallet. And they're struggling, scraping just to make it. They're doing some of the most vile, some of the skankiest shit just to make it. When they don't have to. But they refuse to open up their wallet. And that is Elijah, that's what you guys do. You refuse to go down into your spiritual being. You refuse to get out of your fucking ego and out of your fucking head thinking you know all this fucking shit. You got everything fucking figured out. You're so fucking logical. You're so fucking woke. You're so fucking deep. You're so fucking wise. But you won't even tap into who you really are. You can't even comprehend that you have all power. You can't even comprehend that you're connected with infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge. Because you don't believe in you. Because you don't know who you are. You're praying to a religious God when you are fucking God. You're praying to this fucking people up here. You're politicking and kissing all these people's ass to hook you up with this and to give you this and open up this door and do all this other. You're kissing everybody's ass. You're looking for validations from all these motherfuckers. You walking on eggshells, not trying not to offend this person, because if I offend this person, man, they might cut me off. If I offend this person, man, they might turn their back on me. If I offend this person, if I do this, it's gonna go bad. Man, you're fucking powerful beyond your wildest dreams. You don't need these motherfuckers to open up doors for you. You're begging them for fucking jobs. You're begging them for fucking connections. Because you don't know who the fuck you are. You're a billionaire, beyond a billionaire. You could buy the whole fucking company and still have hundreds of billions of dollars left over. But you don't know who the fuck you are. You're begging these people and kissing their ass and selling your ass to get a hookup, to get a job, to get a promotion, do all this, and you could buy the fucking company. You could buy the fucking franchise. And you begging them for fucking minimum wage. You're begging this woman to stay married to you. You're begging this girl to stay hooked up with you. You're begging this dude, and you're on your knees grabbing him by the leg and begging him not to leave you because you don't know who the fuck you are. Why are you settling for this bullshit? Because you don't know who you are. And because you don't know who you are, you really don't have any idea of who I am. And I said this before in another video. How do you get closer to God? How do you understand God? You understand God by understanding you. Let me say it again. You can only understand God by understanding you. The more you understand you, the more you understand God. Because you're one and the same. You're one and the same. The trip is you can't believe that you're that powerful. You can't believe that you're that connected. That you got that type of resources within you. You can believe all the negative shit that they told you. That you're cursed because you're black. You're cursed because your daddy was a fucking criminal. You're cursed because you're a dude. You're cursed because you're white. You're cursed because you're mixed. You got all this stupid shit that you believe. But you can't believe the truth. And you can't believe the truth because your spirit is the truth. Your spirit is the truth. Your intuition is the truth. But you don't know anything about that. Because you spend all your time up here in your head. You spend all your time up here in your feelings. I'm like, oh man, God. He had to humble me. I said, God, how do we become more spiritual? And when I talk about spiritual, family, I'm not talking about like these crazy ass motherfuckers running around here talking about, man, I got on crystals, so I'm spiritual. You know what I mean? I got tarot cards and oracle cards, so I'm spiritual. I got sage and Palo Santo, so I'm spiritual. No, that don't make you fucking spiritual. God, what is it that makes us spiritual? We're spiritual beings. He said, Elijah, go within. Go within. There's no other way to get there. There's no other way to get to that understanding. It's a trip because Brahma, man, he called all these guys together one day. And he was telling them, man, we got to find, there's all this wisdom in the world. And man, we can't just give this to man because man ain't ready for this knowledge of who he is. Man is not ready. Mankind is not mature enough to handle this knowledge of who they are, the power they possess. Where can we hide this? And so all the gods got together and they're thinking about it. And Brahma said, man, we got to find a place. And one of the guys said, man, let's put it in the deepest oceans. Because, man don't have anything to get down there that deep yet. And, man, the depths will scare man away and it'll stay there forever. And Brahma sat there, thought, he's like, yeah. But you know what? Man, in his quest for hunger, his quest for thirst, his quest for power, he'll find a way to get down to the depths of the ocean. He'll discover a means to get down to the depths of the ocean. And they're going to find it there. And they're like, yeah. And so they pondered again for a while. And one of the gods came and said, man, let's put it in the deepest realms of space. And everybody's like, yeah. They don't have anything to get them in outer space yet. And they're like all cheering. And Brahma's like, yeah. So, but man, and it's being so inquisitive, man, being so powerful, a hunger for power, and a thirst to conquer. They're gonna find a means to get into space, and there they'll find it. And so they're like, man, where can we put it? We've given you all the good answers. Brahma sat there and he thought, we'll put it where man will never look. Man will go into the deepest realms of space. Man will go into the deepest parts of the ocean. But man will never think to go within himself. I'm saying it again. Man, being as nosy as he is, he'll find a way to get into outer space. He'll find a means to go into the depths, deepest parts of the oceans. And he'll look for all the answers externally. But he'll never think to go deep within himself. That's why we don't meditate. That's why we don't like ourselves. That's why we don't love ourselves. That's why we don't have a relationship with God. That's why we don't even know who God is. You can't have a relationship with God and not have a relationship. Let me say this again. You can't have a relationship with God and not have a relationship with you. I hope you caught that. You can't love God and not love you. You can't value God and not value you. You're one and the same. But because you don't know who you are, you don't know who God is. You know religion, but you don't know who God is. Man. And because we don't know who God is, it's easy for us to not believe in God. And we don't believe in God because we don't believe in us. We don't believe in ourselves. And you can't believe in yourself because you don't even know yourself. You don't know yourself. You can only know yourself by going deep within and tapping into your spiritual man. Because that is who you are. That's the greatest version of you. That's the greatest version of you. And so when you guys hear me say, man, we got to grow up. It's not about being emotionally mature. It's about going deep within ourselves, reconnecting with who we really are, understanding who we really are, understanding that we're all powerful, understanding that we are love. And see, here's the trick. When you know who you are, when you really know who you are, you're loving. You're all loving. What's up, Scott? You're all loving when you know who you are. When you're connected to God. When you're connected to your spiritual being. Because God is love. You are love. I'm say it again. I don't care whether you call God God. I don't care whether you call him the Most High. I don't care whether you call him Allah. I don't care whatever you call him. You could call him Chi. You could call him Force. You could call him Universe, Source. It don't matter. All of it. It's love. It's love. It's love. Man, my hope and prayer is that we take the time to stop playing games. We take the time to stop being on social media looking for all these likes and looking for all these subscribers and all these validations and all this other stupid, superficial crap. And that we take the time to tap into who we really are. You tap into who you really are. And who you really are, you're not hate. You're not unforgiveness. You're not bitterness. You're not animosity. You're not hatred. You're not any of those negative, toxic, destructive frequencies. That's not who you are. Because that's not love. All of those negative, toxic frequencies are not on the same vibration, the same frequency as love. God is love. You are love. You are love. And when you become who you really are, you stop operating in a lack mentality. You stop operating with a victim mentality. You stop operating out of judgment, out of anger, out of animosity, and all the other crap. All you want to do is love. You ain't got time to judge nobody. You ain't got time to condemn nobody. You just want to love. You're not mad over all the stuff that's happened because you understand that everything that's happened has led you to this place of self-discovery. Everything that's happened has led you to the place of you understanding and you reconnecting with you. You've gone through a lot of bad things. You experienced a lot of painful situations. You've had a lot of loss. I get that. I have too. A lot of people have. You can stay operating on that frequency, that negative, toxic crap. And when you operate on that frequency, you keep perpetuating all of those same toxic things in your life. Why? Because you're stuck in a merry-go-round. You're stuck on a merry-go-round. So you keep going through broken, failed relationship after another. You keep going through failed jobs, failed businesses, and all this other crap over and over and over. Why? Because you're stuck on a negative, toxic frequency. You have to change your frequency. You have to become love. That's who you are. And it's amazing, all kids come into this world on that frequency. Life happens. Different events happen. Crazy families, you know what I mean? Crazy moms and dads and siblings and aunties and uncles and cousins and next door neighbors and babysitters and pastors and preachers and teachers and all this other stuff happen. And we forget who we are. We lose touch with who we really are. And you can only reconnect with who you are through meditating and being reconnected with your greater version of yourself. That's your spiritual man. That has nothing to do with your ego. That has nothing to do with your wisdom. Man. Family, I thank you guys for being with me on this journey. I'm like up under the weather and I feel it right now too. Man, I thank you guys for your prayers. I thank you guys for your support. Man, I truly love you guys. You know what I mean? I love you guys. Man, we got to do better. We have to do better. What's up, Miss Rocky? We have to do better. And I just want to say something real quick off topic. For all of you that are on the chats, all of you that are chatting with each other, man, I see it, but it just pops up real quick. I really don't have time to like read them, you know what I mean? But I love you guys. I thank you guys for looking out for each other. I thank you guys for just checking in on each other. You know what I mean? I thank you guys for encouraging and supporting and uplifting each other. That's what this platform is all about. You know what I mean? That's what this place is all about. That's what family is all about. That's what this tribe is all about. You know what I mean? And so when we don't see somebody on the chats for a while, man, I appreciate the fact that everybody chimes in. Hey, we missed you, man. Welcome back, and whoop, 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 and checking in on each other. I appreciate that. Because this got to be a safe place for everybody. For everybody. You know what I mean? Man, because we're family here. Not that toxic shit we was born into. We're family. I love you guys. Happy healing. Peace.